Hey everybody, Lord of Toxicity here, and I wanted to pop on for a quick video, a little bit of consider the source slash toxic recommends, but this week I'm not doing a book versus the adaptation it was turned into, just talking about a book, talking about a friend of mine and his latest writing endeavor, Silver Screen Journeys by Lance Steen, Anthony Nielsen. That's a mouthful, huh? All right, so, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it, shall we?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dying times here.
Yeah, I don't know why I put that on there. I just thought it was pretty funny. Anyway, a friend of mine, Lance from the Outcast Creative, endeavored his most recent writing project, a real personal book to him called Silver Screen Journeys, 101 plus movies and the people and places that made them memorable. He also got a incredible cover art done and a little prologue forward by the Critical Drinker himself. As a big longtime fan of the Critical Drinker, I take his word pretty well, but I also like movies and books that look at movies. I like the fact that Silver Screen Journeys does what Leonard Moulton and some of the other movie critics over the years who make these kind of tabletop companion pieces, they don't do. For a little background, Lance is, as I said, the co-creator of the Outcast Creative, which there will be a link to in the description. I've been on it many times myself, including but not limited to when he interviewed me about my book, Slapdash, that came out right around the same time that this came out last month. Or actually month before last, right around Christmas. This book that Lance has done is, I think, one of 7 or 8 books that he's done. I'll have links to all of them in the description on this video. I have only read this one, but I'm sure with his talent, they're all excellent pieces of literature for you to check out with varying degrees of what it is that you happen to be into at any given time. But speaking of Silver Screen Journeys, so as a tabletop compendium for movies, films that he's seen, Lance does something a little different than what your average movie critic will do. Lance, with his extensive movie knowledge, and like me, maybe unlike me in some ways, but like me in some, he spent a lot of time in the cinema, and he actually worked in one, as did I for a short period of time, nothing compared to what he did. And during a lot of the times that he was in the cinema, I guess he took notes, or he's just got this amazing eidetic memory of all of the movies that he has seen in the cinema, at least the ones that are notable, who he saw them with, what he was doing at the time, how he thought about that particular film that he saw. And all 101 entries that are in here are very detailed, not just of what the movie is about, but more like what they meant to Lance. He's even got little cutaways and side notes about who he actually watched these movies with which I think personally, I've never read anything like that before. It's almost like going into someone's diary a little bit. And I think you'd be hard pressed to find somebody that loves cinema as much as Lance loves cinema. Every week, on Tuesday, he will do the Nielsen ratings, in which, to varying degrees, everybody gets to chime in a little bit, talking about what they've seen or watched, TV, films. Sometimes there'll be a main post topic. He'll have, I like to joke around and say he gives us like a homework assignment, something that we should watch and then discuss weekly that he's into at the current time, whether that be something on streaming or a documentary, whatever, like that. and we'll discuss it on Tuesdays. He's also got Late Night with Lancey, which comes on after Open Bar. Side note, Lance is one of the head admins for the Critical Drinker Open Bar, and is a very good friend of his, and he was generous enough to write a nice, lovingly little foreword in the beginning of Silver Screen Journeys. I think it's worth reading and taking a look. I know you usually want to get to the meat of what it is that you're reading, but I think the foreword is, I think it's very generous. Anyway, taking a look at this over the last couple of weeks since I got it ordered on Amazon, I found myself kind of trying to think of, like, where was I when I was watching some of these movies? And granted, Lance is a tad bit older than I am, and he's seen more films than I have, and his understanding of how films are made, how screenplays are written, how the actors, utilize their trade, all of that stuff's vastly superior to, my limited screen knowledge and what I know about pop culture and things like that. That being said, he doesn't do it in such a way that it sounds either pedantic or over your head. He brings it to the level at which you're reading it, and kind of just all you kind of come away with is this kind of loving affection towards cinema and towards the things that he felt and did at the time that he saw this film. And each one has this real specific kind of genre, this real specific niche into each and every one of the things that he watched. And it's hard not to find yourself looking at it and thinking, what was I doing at the time that I saw this movie? Did I see it on TV? Did I see it in the cinema? And Lance goes into these kind of details. I would assume he must have kept some kind of a journal. I don't have a lot of insight into the background of how he came up with this. I'd love to talk to him about it sometime. Maybe he will grant me that after he sees this video. But I wonder if he had his, a journal out and wrote, hey, March 17th, Dad and I went to go see this movie up at the cinema, and we had a great time. And maybe he went through that. I like to think that's how he did it. But again, whether he did it or he just utilized that big brain of his and that big eidetic memory and he put this stuff down, either way, it's solid gold. It's especially telling how many people in his life, whether it be loved ones, lovers, or family members, who he still has in his life, and some that he does not, unfortunately. It's a really telling on how much he appreciates not only the experience of whatever it was he was watching at the time, but the experience in which he got back from the other people that were with him during the time that he watched this stuff. It's almost as if the feeling between what he got from it is like transmutative between the people that he enjoyed it with. Like the thing melds together. I don't want to go into specific stuff without you reading the book. I don't want to spoil it for you, and it's not like it's a long narrative or anything like that. Again, like I said, at the outset, it's a tabletop read. It's one of those things that you pull open and you get some really good information on what it is that he thought, what he did, and how he experienced a lot of these things in cinema. From he's very young up until the most present day. And I find that fascinating. It's a real interesting lens into what somebody that's been in the business for this long thinks of and still loves movies. I grew up watching Siskel and Ebert, and then later Ebert and Roper. And little side note about me, when Gene Siskel passed away, I wrote a letter to Roger Ebert basically saying, hey, I think it would be really cool if you got some fresh blood in, and I'd be honored to do At the Movies with you. Gay! But he didn't respond. But one of the things that, as much as I love, most movie critics, especially, Siskel and Ebert At the Movies, one of the things that I found with these guys is that after a while, they become a little jaded. They become a little, their skin gets a little thick, and they've kind of seen it all and done it all. So things don't touch them in such a way as a lot of us that love being in the theater. I myself love just the experience of going into the theater. I love becoming attractions. I love the little pre-show thing that comes up on the screen as you're waiting for your movie to start. I love the whole experience. And that's, after hundreds and hundreds of movies, and it's after, me, myself, before I joined the military, I worked at a theater for 3 years, and I still love every second of it. I'd live in a movie theater if I could. And that kind of, love for cinema itself is something that I think comes across in this book. I just can't describe it any better than I have at this point. I will say that I think it's definitely worth your time. And it's one of those things that you can pick up and read, go to a certain point, look up a movie that you happen to like, and go, ooh, let me see what Lance said about that. And it's also something that's pretty interesting. You can pick it up and read what he thought about one movie or another, Kelly's Heroes, something like that, Bridge Too Far. And you can go, oh, this is what he thought about that? Maybe I should get that on a rewatch. Or even pick it up and look at it and see him talking about a film that he saw that maybe you yourself did not catch. And go, oh, this is what Lance thought about this? I might give that a look. But this is just a short video today, and I just wanted to talk about that as I've just recently finished and told him that I would discuss it. I want to give thanks to everybody that is in the picture in the slides. I didn't have enough room to make enough slides for all of the pictures of all of the people that I know have purchased the book and were gracious enough to grant Lance a picture of them holding it. I myself have one that I have sent to Lance. It's not a very good picture of me. But that being said, there you go. There's the money shot right there. Get this, it's on Amazon. I believe it was like $12 or $13. Excellent book. Lots of good stuff, lots of slides, lots of insight into who Lance is as a person, what he was doing at any given moment when he was watching some of these films, who he watched it with, and how they are important to him in his life, And then, of course, he talks about the movies himself. And like I said before, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody with better knowledge into silver screen as Lance Nielsen. So with that said, I want to thank everybody for giving me a few minutes to talk about this, and check it out. It is on Amazon, and I believe you can purchase it on any of the formats that you need. I don't know if it's on Amazon Kindle yet. I'd have to look that up. But like I said, I myself bought it on Amazon, and I got it pretty quickly over here in the States. So thanks for stopping by, everybody, and check out Lance Steen Anthony Nielsen, co-founder of the Outcast Creatives, new book, Silver Screen Journeys, 101 Movies.